Huzzah! Tharpe, you're getting to hear it in person.
I'm so excited.
I feel weird. I feel like I'm playing football again, calling you guys by your last name.
And on the field next, we have...
It's senior night. All right, welcome back to the Vertical Plus podcast. Post Mother's Day, but every day is Mother's Day in our eyes.
Hey.
Am I winning?
Yes, you're winning.
Great. So we brought in a couple of... Have we talked about Tharpe on the podcast before?
Actually, we have, because...
That's what I thought. Ask us anything.
You've
We talked
alluded
about
to
it.
me.
Entire episode.
You would know. I guess you listen to every episode.
all of them.
Okay.
She's an avid listener.
Yes. So we brought in Rachel Tharpe today, an avid listener, close to the podcast. We brought in also another avid listener, also close, maybe too close to the podcast. My wife, of whom I love, Rachel Hammack, is here. Rachel, yay!
Hello.
I'll clap for you. Yes. Welcome, you guys. How's it going?
Great.
Pretty well.
Are y'all nervous?
So nervous.
Yep.
Very good.
Don't be nervous.
Babe, I'm going to push your mic to you. Very good. Always taking care of her.
Thank you. Okay.
Is this cringy yet?
Yep. Yes.
Great. All right. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to kind of bridge a little bit of what we talked about this previous Sunday. If you didn't listen to that, you can go back to the episode before this one called Mother's Day 2021 and give it a listen, and then it'll let you know what you need to know before getting to know what we're talking about today, which is something. But before we do that, what did we talk about on Sunday, Megan? Maybe the gist of what we were trying to make happen. Maybe a recap for people that have already listened.
Yes. So I'll give you my pitch sentence for Mother's Day.
Great.
Sunday morning 2021 is that we actually invited 4 women who were all mothers in one way, shape, or form, or many ways, shapes, or forms, and had a panel discussion about the reality of motherhood at home, in our community, in the church, and what that looks like. So we touched on things like lessons that we've learned, the impact that we hope to make in the community. Mom guilt was a big thing. And
mom guilt.
Yes, we really want
That's
to
an
carry
interesting topic
over
right there.
on that today, because I don't think we were able to talk enough about that yesterday.
One person tried to, but we just didn't give her enough time, and we should apologize here, Miss Tharpe. Miss Tharpe. I'll call you Miss Tharpe. That way it's less weird.
No.
I don't know what to call them. RT. Well, you talked a little bit about mom guilt during one portion of the talk on Sunday. Can you kind of give us a little bit of what you were trying to convey during that short, minute and a half?
I think just trying to really, I think it's important to normalize it. It's a regular, normal thing. And I feel it on some level every day. I think I'm always, as a mom, you're always kind of wondering if you did the right thing, if you said the right thing, if you handled things correctly. Just think we're all living with just a little layer of guilt.
Is it like a new term that we're kind of given this false reality that's kind of been around, I guess, since the dawn of time with motherhood? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if my mom ever felt guilty about things. Not that I know of.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's always been.
Is it just like a symptom of culture changing, I guess, is kind of what it is? I'm asking as the dude that doesn't know anything about anything.
Probably. I think there's so much more in your face now, so many more books and there's so much on social media, and you're seeing all these moms who seem to be just killing it, every day. And I think it just kind of magnifies that.
Well, Megan made a good point when we were planning out this podcast that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which I have a bone to pick with every day being a day for something. But I feel like it's finally, mental health is finally getting its proper place in society lately, which has been really good. There's a whole month dedicated to it now, which is awesome. I feel like, Megan, you made a good point about this, that it kind of really goes hand in hand with mom guilt.
Yes.
Like, what are these things that you guys tend to feel guilty for that lead to this unnecessary stress and, anxiety, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think Rachel, your wife, whom you love,
I do, a lot.
have had several conversations about just the toll that being a mom takes on us. And when you're constantly feeling guilty, whether it's for maybe not able to give your child as much attention as you think you should have given them that day, or your spouse or your other children or your family and friends outside of that you were doing so much with before, and now your life has changed. And so when you constantly live in this state of guilt of, did I do enough? Did I do enough? It takes a toll on your mental health, and it becomes like an anxiety more than just a guilty feeling, and you're not able to focus on the things that are good.
Is that, would y'all say that's like the root of quote unquote mom guilt?
It starts before your baby's even born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think some of it is really silly stuff too. Like I was at a doctor's appointment while she was when the tornado came through, and I was guilty. I felt guilty like not being there with her, and that's super silly. Like, we didn't know a storm was going to come through. Mm-hmm. So I think we just tend to overthink everything, and then it turns into guilt from there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. That's interesting. Oh.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot.
Yeah.
We should say that right now.
Yeah.
So what does this specifically do? Like, how does it flesh itself out in the day-to-day? Like, what are the realistic day-to-day consistent things that happen as a, I guess, symptom of these moments of guilt? Like, how does it affect your marriage, your relationship with your kids, the way your social circles work? Like, what occurs in that way?
For me, it depends on the day, because every day is different. But having 3 older kids and then a toddler, if I have a lot to do with the big kids one day and I'm trying to get everybody where they're supposed to be, then I feel like the worst mom ever, because Sawyer sat in his car seat for 2 hours in the car. He's happy. He does not care. He is happy because he is with Mama and Sissy and his brothers, and it's a great day. He's gotten to see all of them, and maybe he got fries. He could care less. But for me, I'm like, oh, my poor baby just sat in this car seat. Or my kids saw me get frustrated with them, and it's not their fault that they have activities to go to or that they need to be at this appointment. Like, it's not their fault. I'm their mom. I should be doing this. And so it really depends on the day. But then those thoughts just kind of turn me into a mess, because I'm constantly like, did I do it? Did I do the wrong thing? Did I say the wrong thing? Now my head hurts. Now I feel sick. And now I'm going to not answer the phone when other people are trying to get in touch with me, and then they're going to get upset. And so it's just like this spiral. I've seen those examples, and Mike and I talk about this all the time, and y'all will probably know what I'm talking about. But like, almost like the men are waffles, women are spaghetti, but just how women's brains are wired, where like everything crisscrosses, but men can compartmentalize things. And so Mike can say, I can go to my nothing box and I can just sit there and not think about anything.
What? I need a
and
nothing
that
box.
amazes me. Like,
Rachel, you should tell them about the brain conversation we had. Was it yesterday or Saturday?
I can't
think
remember,
it was Saturday.
but we were in the car, and he was like, I said, what are you thinking or whatever? And he was like, I wonder what the hex code is for the color red on the stop sign. And I was like, he was like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about how I'm going to handle Mother's Day since my mom passed away. And I'm like wondering how I'm going to handle those emotions. And he was like, wow.
She's like, I wish I could just have your vacation brain for
Yes.
just one day a year.
One day I just want to think about
Check
the
out.
hex code on
Oh, man, I do this like 30 minutes at a time every day.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe you guys can speak in a little bit. Like, what are the ways that mom guilt kind of play into your life specifically? You don't have to get overly personal if you don't want to, given it it's a personal or a public forum right here. But
Let's get
say what you
real
want to say.
personal.
Yeah.
I think without knowing it, I get very bogged down by it, and I don't realize that I am until something sets me off. Like with Cole, a lot of his early childhood was spent doing very therapeutic, behavioral intervention-y kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like teaching him how to ride a bike was not a priority. You know, signing up for like baseball, soccer, not a priority. We don't have the time. And then I'll be worried, and Chris will say something like, he didn't even know how to ride a bike. And I'm like, get off my case. Get off my case. I've done it all. And I still, I just, man.
Go teach him how to ride a bike then.
Go teach it. Yeah. But, that's just failure, another failure.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's fine. He actually has no interest. He doesn't want to ride a bike. Right. But it culminates to that and just one little thing. And Chris just comes in innocently like, making a statement, and I'd lose my mind.
Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for me, I stay at home with a toddler, but I also work from home. And so I have to do that balance of like she wants me and she's crying and pulling at my pant legs, but I have to send an email right then, or I have to call a bride or things like that. And
What do
it's
you
just,
do?
I'm a wedding photographer. So it's trying to find that balance and then also take care of the home and have time with Chase and balance all of those things. So it's constantly like, if the balance is off, I feel guilty for whichever one is getting less amount of my attention.
Is that a main part of mom guilt? Is like, maybe it's not, but like how it kind of can affect your marriage relationship? Like
For sure.
how do you see that play out? Because there's a lot of married couples out there, but then not all of them have kids yet or are not planning to. So
I think the mental load of motherhood, like I've seen it in some graphic forms, and that really helped my brain understand it. But things that we do that like Chase doesn't understand is like when I think about laundry, I think about like the checking the pockets and are these clothes too small, and I need to get her new clothes for the next season, and what size shoe is she wearing, and things like that. Whereas he's like, just do the laundry. But in my mind,
yeah,
there's
that's how I say it specifically. Just do the laundry.
there's
Woman.
like 40 things that go through my brain. And when I heard it described as the mental load, I was able to tell him like, hey, I have this process that my brain goes through for everything, like for her bedtime routine or for her sleep schedule or for what we're going to cook. Do we have groceries? Things like that, that he didn't really understand, like how much was going through my head. And so once I was able to share that, I think it helped a lot. But before that, it would make me just like kind of resentful. Like, why isn't he helping? But he didn't understand what all was going through my brain.
Do you think it varies? We love the Enneagram here. Do you think mom guilt or the mental load and all these terms, do you think they vary kind of based on your personality?
Maybe
As a
the
mom?
things that you feel guilty for
Yeah.
might vary, or the
So
things that
I didn't mean
weigh-
the specific like the different loads, but like maybe the way you process.
Yeah,
the
like
loads
the
or
things that are
guilt.
going to weigh you down the
Yeah, yeah.
most. Yeah. Like if my kids know that clutter makes me crazy. Just, it makes me crazy.
Why are there pots everywhere?
Yes. Stop. And so there have been days that I've lost my mind a little bit and had to go back and apologize and say, I'm so sorry. This isn't good for my mental health, but it's not your fault at the same time
Yeah.
that I get so crazy over this. Yeah, I think it varies with that.
What about you?
Definitely
Rachel Tharpe.
that, and like maybe like any kind of past traumas that you might have experienced. I think that kind of triggers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I'm always worried about making the best out of every day. Like my mom has died, and you could die at any moment, and all you'll have left is your memories. So are you making good memories? And also, if you made a bad memory, that's the last thing they'll remember if you die. Which sounds so extreme, but these are the
it goes
things
through your
that spin.
head.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what happens in the night when it's quiet and you can think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Wow, and I'm over here just watching YouTube.
just hanging out,
Man,
thinking
this
about
is
stop
great.
signs.
You keep thinking about that hex code, Chase.
Someone's got to,
Yeah.
All right, so a term that I've heard a lot lately because there has just been this new generation being spawned at Vertical lately of all these children being born is like postpartum depression, anxiety, stuff like that. I had never ever heard of any of that ever. But I think culturally a lot of people may have not have heard of that ever either.
Yeah.
So you guys talked a little bit ago about how it starts even before your baby's even born and then immediately after, stuff like that. Like, what is all of that? Like, I get it, but I'm trying to, some people don't know. So can you all kind of elaborate how that anxiety stuff kind of starts before this kid's even here?
Well, there's a lot on social
got time.
media, especially that that impacted my anxiety, and it was all the sleep stuff and how they're gonna eat, and there's all this information coming at you now, and that's good. I like thrive on information, but trying to filter out what I was gonna do and what was best and what I needed to do versus what I could choose, it was just a lot of information, and that can, as an Enneagram 6, I can start to overthink everything. And that causes some anxiety, and you want to do things the right way. You don't want to like mess your kid up. So I think that was a big thing when I was pregnant.
Yeah, right from the get-go, it's like natural birth or C-section, breastfeed, formula, co-sleep. What are you going to do? And it's like you have to make all these decisions, all these books, all this information, and you better make the right one or your child's going to be ruined for life.
Yes.
That's how it comes across.
It's incessant, and everyone has an opinion.
Everyone.
Yes. I mean, you're wrong. You're wrong no matter what you do.
Yes.
And whatever you choose, it leads into that mom guilt again, because then someone is going to tell you you're wrong for that choice. A lot of times it's other moms telling you you're wrong for that choice.
Don't vaccinate.
Yes.
It is everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yes.
It is. It's constant. And I actually have a friend who just found out that they're pregnant, and I was texting back and forth with her, and she said, okay, you have 4. I'll take any advice you have. And I said, okay, here's the best piece of advice I can give you right now today. Every pregnancy is different. So what worked for someone else won't be the same for you.
Exactly.
And every baby is different. What works for that baby won't work for your baby. Some of it will, some of it won't. And you just have to remember that God has given you your maternal instinct for your child, and you can make those decisions. But a year ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to say that, bringing up number 4. Like there is so much information. You feel so judged when you look at somebody that you think is just doing a better job than you are, or like more successful at nursing or sleeping schedules or whatever. And you start to compare yourself because you see this or that. And you have to remember that every baby is different. It's not the same.
Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes because as moms, we don't get a lot of recognition. And so then when we see another mom we think is doing better than us, it's hard not to say something or feel guilty, because we start to think, oh, well, maybe we're not doing enough, and in reality, that mom's probably feeling the same way.
Yep. But we don't say it.
Plus, your body is raging with crazy hormones.
Yes.
Like the biology of it is just making you, it's a lot.
I've never heard so many things that can be passed off as, maybe my hormones are just out of whack. That affects this too? What?
But people don't study it enough or talk about it enough.
No.
I didn't realize that
had
having
zero
my
idea.
tubes tied following my C-section would throw my hormones out of whack in the way that it did until I did the research and figured out that that's what it was, because it's just not talked about.
Yeah.
Because it's mental health, so we want to push that back and not talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So, what do you... That's not even
He
half
needs a
of it.
YouTube break.
Chase is like, I'm going to go look at hex codes. Y'all keep talking.
So, what do you do about all of that? Like, that's so... Like, we haven't even... I don't think we've even, gone past the tip of the iceberg with some of this stuff. We could probably do a 8-part series on this, but... Anyway, what are next steps for women that are maybe stuck in this mom guilt or experiencing this postpartum depression or this, I don't know, midlife crisis, quarter life crisis, all of these terms that can be thrown around that really just goes towards anxiety and stress as a mom. Like, how do you fix all of this? What is the solution to? You may not be able to fix it. It may be the wrong term, but like, what's the alleviation point for some of this stuff?
Medication.
That is the answer sometimes.
Like that was one of the answers I wanted to give yesterday. And I was like, I don't know how deep we're going to go here at church.
Like herbal medication.
Oh no, like I think information and destigmatizing
Yes.
therapy and medication is a huge, like I have so many, your levels are so off. Cortisone, whatever it is, and you don't realize it and you're ashamed to admit it. Normalizing stuff like therapy and medication and making it a process is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a statistic that since the pandemic has started, 1 in 3 women have postpartum anxiety, and that's a lot. And we feel alone, but really there's so many people dealing with the same thing. So I think destigmatizing therapy and medication, but also just knowing that like you're not alone and
Mm-hmm.
other people are going through it and have gone through it, and
Yeah.
there's ways to help.
And I think paying attention to people that we know after the fact, so that when we see those signs in other people, we can help them too. Because if we've experienced it and we felt alone, but maybe we've kind of gotten through it, helping someone else get through it is also part of our healing process.
Yeah, and being vulnerable. That's probably what I would tell someone who is pregnant is afterwards, be vulnerable. Like, let people know what's going on, because they can't help you if you keep it all inside. And we've all gone through it, so we're here to listen to all the mess and everything. Just make sure to tell someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely talking about it's important.
Mm-hmm.
What are some specifics, what things we've discovered over the past year, if not generation, is how many ways the church has failed in a lot of these mental health areas of life, especially when things get really hard. So what are some specific steps that maybe even specific to Vertical that we can be taking to give these women outlets to get in the process of healing or recovering from some of this stuff?
I have to brag on Megan a little bit, because she says a lot that she will sit with people, and I think she's really good at that. Because a lot of times, even at Vertical, when I've tried to be vulnerable about mom guilt or things that I've been feeling, or specific things like with postpartum body and stuff like that, I've basically been told like, things take time, or it'll get better, or, all of those things, which then contribute to mom guilt. Like, oh, maybe I'm just complaining and I need to stop complaining and just shove this down. And so then it's a cycle of you try to be vulnerable and it comes across as complaining, and then you just kind of go back into that mom guilt and anxiety. So I think the church can be better at sitting with people, listening to them, not trying to make it better right away, just listening to what's going on, and that can be really calming.
Yeah.
And Megan's really good at that.
Well, thank you. You make me cry a little bit this morning.
I love it.
Yeah, I think people shy away from saying things because you feel like you don't know what to say and you don't want to say the wrong thing, but just learning to be there with somebody, just sit with them in it, and being okay with that. Like, you don't have to have the answers. Don't try to fix me. Just be there.
Yeah.
Just be my friend.
But Megan, I know it can fix you.
Chase, you've been trying for a long time, buddy.
I mean, I think you guys said it. Having access to community is really important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the hardest thing is being alone in that, because you're just alone in your thoughts, you're alone in your guilt and your depression, and there's really no way out of that.
Yeah.
You need people to lift you up and to talk to you and to listen to you and to be honest with you. I'm probably painfully honest sometimes, and I feel like it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is who I am, and if you can relate to me in some way, I'm here for you.
Yes.
I can consistently hear lately people talking about their favorite people in Vertical, and every single person that they talk about is someone that's extremely straightforward, honest, and direct and blunt.
Yeah.
So clearly people are
fit right
yearning
in.
for it.
You're
They just
good.
may not know it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, did we cover it? Did we fix it all?
I think maybe we fixed it. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, like we always say with episodes like this, if you are seeking help or need a way to get plugged into a community, we have a lot of ways to reach out. You can sign up online to our connection card if you need to. You can come and find us on a Sunday and talk to us specifically and directly. We can try that way. There's many ways.
Email help@livevertical.tv.
You can't do that.
That's
Yes.
anonymous.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to know about that one because it's anonymous. So I forgot to say it. Cool. All right. Well, ask us anything.
Let's ask.
All right.
Or be asked.
We'll see. I miss Avery. All right, Megan. We
All
got
right,
a little
Chase.
bit of specialness happening today.
We do.
Man, this is exciting. There are a few people in the Vertical community that are consistent in the Ask Us Anything game,
Yes.
who are consistently challenging us as staff members of a church or just people in general.
Some more than others.
Some more than others. That is
Great
true.
questions.
Great questions. Is there anyone that comes to mind that is specifically good at just asking great questions, whether fun, whether not fun?
Maybe someone sitting at the table today.
Oh my gosh, is it Rachel Tharpe?
It is Rachel Tharpe.
Yay! Rachel, how many can you, if you can remember, or if you can give an estimate, how many questions have you gotten on the podcast? Do you know?
I think there was one whole like Ask Us Anything segment. It was like 3 or 4 of my questions.
Trick
just
question.
back to
It
back
was
to
so
back.
many that we answered in one episode.
I loved it.
Yes.
I was like, oh, they're talking about me.
all my questions.
There are periods of drought that tend to happen with the Ask Us Anything segment, and that's okay. That's why we try to space them out as much as we can.
Yes.
But there was one superwoman that came through with a lot of questions that helped us out on an episode, and
That's
boy, did we
right.
have a lot of fun. I wish I knew the episode number so I could tell you to go back and listen, but I don't remember which one it is. That's
We can
okay.
find it later. It's okay.
Yeah, I should have prepped. Sorry. Anyway, Ask Us Anything. Megan, we have a question that is real special
Yes.
for one specific reason.
Yes. So this question says, our youth pastor used to take us to this huge living hell experience in Cedar Hills, Texas every Halloween, and it has scarred me for life. What are your thoughts on church fear tactics? Or does anyone have any interesting experiences with fear-based approaches in church?
Megan, we typically...
That is an excellent question.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel Tharpe. We tend to pride ourselves on anonymity. I pronounced that really well. Thank you.
we do.
But this is an episode where that has no place. Rachel Tharpe, thank you for asking that question. That's a really,
so
really good
This
question.
is going to be a fun question to
Before we
answer.
get into that, I feel like you should tell us a little bit about Cedar Hills. Did I say that right? Cedar Hills?
Yes, I think the church is called Trinity.
Oh, we're gonna just lambast churches. Nice.
Sorry. I mean, you can. They love this. This is a Halloween thing they do every year. I think you can find it.
Halloween thing.
You can find it online.
Have you never been to one of these?
No.
Like a living hell.
That's why I'm so excited she's here because I have nothing to say.
Yes.
So it was our youth group's alternative to Haunted House. It's called Living Hell or Hell House. And you are basically you are shepherded through this situation by a demon or two. Not kidding.
All right.
And they take you through different real life situations that could end you up in hell. There was always an abortion scene.
Yes, always.
There was always a suicide scene, drunk driver, school shooting, satanic rituals. So you go through these and you see all these situations and the demons are telling you what's going on. And then...
Are they using voices?
Yes, like scary voices. Horrible, horrible. Then they shove you in a coffin.
Oh.
This is just
Wow.
getting better with every
Coffin.
chapter.
And they like beat on the doors, try to scare you. And they open the other side of the coffin and you are in hell. And there's Satan and fire and brimstone.
Who plays Satan?
I don't. A deacon, maybe. This is terrible. And there's Satan, and there you are, and there's the girl that had the abortion, and there's the satanic cult. They're all there with you, and it's terrifying. And then out of the corner is an angel. And he says, no, wait, there's a better way. And they take you to heaven, and there's God and angels and tambourines, and it's beautiful. And then you get to leave, and you can go get you some hot chocolate, and you can talk to a youth pastor, and hopefully become a Christian.
Hopefully.
You better turn so you don't burn.
Turn so you don't burn.
All right. There's a lot there.
So much.
Do we want to get into the theology of that, or we just leave it and laugh at it?
Scare tactics.
All right.
So much fun.
Let's just talk about our thoughts on it.
Okay. First, no.
You've never been to one.
No, I've never been to one. I've
so
never
sad
heard
for
of
you.
anything like that in my life ever. I've heard the verbiage before, although some of the specifics of that, like the school shooting stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
After Columbine, it became a really
Yeah.
big thing.
man, the
That's
90s.
similar to the one I was a part of.
Well, do tell, Megan, please.
So I did not attend the church that put this on. I attended a Methodist church in town. This was at the First Baptist church in town. But a friend of mine that I was in theater classes with, she actually wrote the entire script.
That's a hell point right there, as being in theater classes.
I know.
Get you there.
It's going to hell already. So she asked a lot of us to come audition and be a part of this. It was called Judgment House. The girl that, I need to say this, the girl that wrote all of it out, her intentions were very pure. She died in a car accident our freshman year of college, and she was one of the most beautiful people I knew. She went to MC, and she really had pure intentions, and she was like Mandy Moore in the movie. I now can't think of the movie, but you know what I'm talking about, that movie. I mean, she was just like that at our high school, and she was a beautiful girl inside and out. So she was never a Bible over your head kind of person.
Thumper.
Yes. I Walk to Remember. That's the movie.
I was just looking it up for you.
Thank you. So she had very good intentions, but it was called Judgment House. There, groups were ushered through, and it was very like end of times or real life scenarios. I specifically remember at one point they would walk through a room, and it was like the parents of this person were watching the news, and all of these crazy things were happening, like the end of days. So they would walk all the way through. Well, my role, I was in one of the final scenes, and I was appearing before God for judgment, and I was banished to hell. And so after being told that, the demons like dragged me into the pits of hell, and I screamed. And I mean, it was, as a 16-year-old, it was a fun thing to do and perform. And
I'm really jealous you got to be in one.
It was kind of a crazy, looking back on it, I hope that no one was scared for their life at that point, but.
Unless they were scared straight.
Yeah, there you go.
Then it worked.
There you
That's a
go.
good idea.
So I had never heard of that before. And then afterwards, I started hearing more and more about the different things.
Yeah, especially at MC. It's like a big thing at Halloween to go to those.
It's like one big judgment house when you go to MC. I'm sorry, I like torching MC on this podcast. There's plenty of good people at MC. I'm sorry. Do you have any experience with that, Rachel, babe?
No, I was asked to go multiple times, but
Like on a date?
no.
Okay.
With different student ministries and college ministries, but I never did. So
You knew better.
just heard about it, but I never went.
That I already love Jesus. I don't need to go to the judgment house. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Rachel, Tharpe, your old church still does it?
I don't know if our church never actually did one, but we were taken to.
Oh.
Yeah.
They
We loaded up on a
believed
bus.
in it.
And, oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not shocked, but I am. It's
Wild.
It's almost like the purity culture.
That's what I was
In a
I didn't have any
different,
experience with that
like,
either. Yeah.
We just need to scare these kids into doing what we think is the right thing. And if we scare them, then they'll just run away from all the bad and go to the good. And that was obviously the exact opposite of what was happening.
You guys are here, so clearly something had to have happened that worked.
It was definitely not at the judgment house, but something did happen.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel Tharpe.
You're so welcome.
That was
a great question.
But there should be more like story time. Ask us anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That was enough. Let's go to recommends.
All right.
Recommends.
You to sing?
No, I've done it too much.
It's a sad day.
I know, you just started it for us. Thank you. Welcome back. Recommends. Want, need, where. I got to meet Janice.
You did.
I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'm going to wait for Austin to be on an episode so we can talk about it.
There's a picture.
I'm not going to show it yet. We'll just keep them a mystery about what she looks like,
Yes.
whoever they are. Like, our they's right there.
Here they are.
All right. Want, need, where, read. First of all, can you explain to us how we do the recommends, please?
Well, there's this.
Where, why, and how.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why
Okay.
and how.
So, from what I can understand, and I don't listen very often, Janice, who is Cammie's mom,
Yes.
has developed this situation for Christmas where you get something you want, something you need, something you wear, something you read. And it kind of helps to cut back on excess and the consumerism of Christmas. And it's a fantastic idea.
Yes.
I love it.
So how do we apply it to our recommends?
I mean, what do you mean? Like,
How do the recommends work?
well, somebody says what they want, somebody says what they need, what they'd wear, what they read. Is that?
Good enough.
I feel like it was self-explanatory, but maybe not.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm going to tell you something that you're going to want because I'm first. So what you're going to want, I'm going to update a recommend that I've done previously in the past. Maybe you'll remember Rachel Tharpe. Probably not. I'm just going to treat you like you're the Vertical Plus expert the whole time you're here. There was an episode, I think a really long time ago, quote unquote, like last fall, that I recommended some frozen hamburger patties from Sam's.
Yeah.
I still stand by that they are very, very good and underrated, and people should get them more, but not too often so that I can still get them. Rachel and I, whom I love, my wife, say hey, babe.
Hello.
We got a Costco membership not too long ago.
Congratulations.
I know, we're
Finally.
elect. We're finally
proud.
in Judgment House. Made it out. I saw in the freezer department that they also have some hamburger patties. And I thought, you know what? I am going to try and I'm going to go against what I usually do and stick with what I love and being loyal. All right? I'm very loyal, but not to people, but to the things I like. Like I feel, Rachel can tell you, I feel we have a stack of wipes that we use. I will get the last wipe if there's one left when we're replacing and put it at the top of the new stack so it doesn't feel left out and unused.
That's
Or
very
diapers,
kind.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
I
so
personify a
love
lot of
it.
things in my life, including hamburger patties, all right? But I wanted to give these new hamburger patties a real shot from the Kirkland's brand. And let me tell you, they're better.
Are they
Oh.
cooked already? Or are they?
No.
Okay.
They're flash frozen raw
Okay.
hamburger patties, which is nice because they don't dry out because of how they're flash frozen.
Yeah.
So you don't have to fret. So if you're looking to update your quick meal options, I recommend
Recommend.
Yep. Going to Costco, getting a membership, and trying out their flash frozen hamburger patties and throwing some cheese on them with a potato bun and having a good time.
A potato bun.
It's
How do you
only-
season these?
Oh, should I do another recommendation? All right, going back to Sam's.
We only asked one question, so we have
Yeah,
time.
we do have time. Going back to Sam's, Rachel and I were walking around with Liv a few weeks ago. This is a very recent recommendation. And I saw in the grilling department on the whim a huge catalog of seasonings on the shelf, right? And I'm looking at them and I'm reading the options and stuff. And I find this Weber brand, you know, Weber grills
Yeah.
and stuff. They have seasonings and they have one called, hold on, stand by. Somebody talk while I'm looking at
So
this.
Kinder's, is that the other seasoning brand that Costco sells? It's Kinder's. Anyways, they have one called
All right, I
the
found
Blend.
it. That's
That's
enough
really
out of
good.
that.
Should try that.
We
It
should-
Try
is
mine, mine's
called
better.
Weber Savory Swiss. All right, so they
Oh.
have dried, powdered, dehydrated Swiss and a bunch of other spices together, including salt, so you don't have to worry about adding extra salt. And it is, let me tell you, the best hamburger seasoning I've ever had in my life. My life.
So it already has cheese, and then you can add more cheese.
Yes.
Yum.
But it's like it is cheese, but it feels just like you're adding the idea of cheese.
Yeah.
You know, like LaCroix, like it feels like the idea of Sprite
Right.
or the idea of grapefruit. It's kind of like that. It's
Okay.
just, but you also have real cheese, so it's like if you're having a Dr. Pepper flavored LaCroix that was actually good.
Oh,
Is
cool.
did I nail that analogy? Good.
There you go.
Need. Who's Need?
Me.
All right, tell us what we need, Dave.
Um,
Is it weird to call her? That's fine. That's
It's how you're
my wife.
differentiating
Yeah.
between the two Rachels.
what you're gonna need
Yeah.
is to follow this nurse on Instagram. She's a postpartum nurse, and she talks about all mom things. And she's the only one that I've followed so far that gives actual hacks that are really helpful. And her name is Carrie Locker.
And Carrie, we trust.
And Carrie, we trust.
What does Carrie say?
She's so great, and I recommend all moms go follow her and all dads because she still gives lots of good information for them too.
Yes.
Give us some examples of things that she's really correct about.
She did this one hack not too long ago where she put a ponytail holder on a wipes package. So every time you pull a wipe out, only one comes out and not a million of them. And so you don't waste a ton of wipes. So I thought that was genius.
Yes.
That way you can only waste wipes because they pooped and you have to use 6.
Yes.
Concerned. At me.
Or you just pull a bunch out just to prepare for it, and then
That's
you
No,
what
I
I
do
do.
one at a time. I do one at a time because I don't want to be overzealous, but I'm going to use at least 4 every time. Where?
she's clean.
Infection's here.
Okay, where?
Yuck.
So
Where? Megan, where?
story time. I am currently wearing my Mother's Day gift that my husband said is also my birthday gift. I don't really think that's fair.
That doesn't work that way.
No.
Nope.
Because my birthday's May 30th, so there's a lot of time between this. So, a few weeks ago, I was busy working on a project here, and Mike was trying to call me, and whatever I was working on, I really don't remember, but I was helping somebody with something, and my phone was on my desk. I did not have it in my hands because I could not hold it. And he needed to get in touch with me and couldn't right away. So that night we had a conversation, and he said he was kind of just frustrated. And I said, maybe I'm just going to go ahead and look into getting an Apple Watch. And it was kind of my, you always tell me I don't need one, but guess what? If I had an Apple Watch on that day, you could have gotten in touch with me.
I can't back up Mike, though.
So
you and Ben both.
Yeah.
Pretty terrible at answering your phones.
Yeah.
Given that you're our boss.
but now I have an Apple Watch. So,
Huzzah.
so he finally agreed with me that day. So I actually was looking at them last week, and Macy said, maybe you should hold off on getting an Apple Watch. I don't know. Maybe you should just hold off. I was pretty close to purchasing one at Costco. And so she made me hold off, and he ended up getting the better version than I would have gotten. So I have
'Cause
the
you're
Apple Watch.
considerate.
It is great. And I am recommending that everyone get one. And next up, I will recommend that Cammie buy one for Ben for Father's Day. So then
Does Ben need
he
one?
has no excuse. Maybe he'll answer his phone if he has it on his wrist.
I don't think Ben will wear it.
He probably won't.
I think he likes his watch that he has too much.
Yeah.
That is a man. If
He
I'm
has a lot
loyal
of
to
watches.
objects, he is married
Yeah,
to them.
I forgot. He's a watch guy. He probably wouldn't wear it. Never mind. I'll answer my
So
phone
you're
now.
recommending an Apple Watch?
Recommending an Apple Watch. It is great. It tracks a lot of things.
That may be the most
and
expensive
do a
recommend
lot.
we've had so far.
I
Way to
don't know
go.
how much it costs, but
That's all right. Negligence is good. Negligence? What?
it was a gift, and I'm not going to look it up.
Well said. All right, Rachel.
All right.
Is it my turn?
Read.
If you want to go.
Okay, I've got read. My first job ever was actually at Barnes & Noble. I was a bookseller for 3 years.
Oh, how old were you?
18.
18 to 21? I guess 20.
Super fun.
Nice.
Yep. But even now, it's kind of a compulsion. When I go to Barnes & Noble, I'm like, I'm going to stack these up real nice. And these. So love to read. Read a lot of books.
Yes.
I was going to recommend like a parenting book, but
That's lame.
It
yeah.
is. I
Yeah.
really was like, I don't want to do it. And this might be my only chance. So I'm going to recommend Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. It's great for guys, great for girls. It's
Is it like
an
a laundry
awesome
book?
Yes. It's about how you do your laundry. No, it's just it's an incredible book. He's an incredible Southern author, and anything by Pat Conroy is amazing. But Prince of Tides is a book that I read a lot. I've read several times.
so
and
what's the gist of it?
it's
Don't spoil it, though.
But no spoilers. Just kind of.
it's about a family, 2 brothers and a sister, and they live in the South Carolina Low Country, which is where I think Pat spent a lot of his time. And they've experienced some really significant family trauma, and now they're adults and they're kind of going back, and he's just basically telling his story of how they grew up and all the crazy things that happened in this.
So
All right,
it's
I'm going to
fictional.
get it.
It's fictional.
Going to get it.
Yes.
You know who's gonna really, really appreciate you is Avery. Because we
Yes.
Ben and Austin give her the absolute most crap about only recommending fiction when she comes on
no.
here. And finally someone else is doing it.
Fiction is
Very
really
kind
good
of
for
you.
like brain breaks when
It
you need
is,
to not
yes.
focus on.
If you
What's
want to
your
invest
what's
in
your
some you
Enneagram
time,
number?
I'm a 6.
That makes so much sense. Man. All right. Well, should we end this boring?
No, make it fun.
No.